Sultan Ibrahim, right, Sultan Barakat there, sorry. You're the Professor of Public Policy at Hamad bin Khalifa University in Qatar. Let's talk about Israel Katz's comments. Now, Israel Katz has said this war will continue and we're going to make it, a bigger scale. But then you've got Donald Trump saying, actually, we're thinking about winding down. Once again, Israel seems to have a strategy. The US is mixed messaging, and this has become a hallmark of this conflict, right?
Well, I agree with what Nida started by saying that they follow two very different objectives. I mean, both against Iran, but for different ends. I think Israel is determined to create a chaotic situation in Iran that's going to last for a number of years. They're not interested in good transformation to a democracy or any of that narrative that they're publicly admitting. What they like to do is to have Iran like Syria, like Libya, like Yemen, where they can continuously intervene when they need to, and there is no order that can in any way threaten them, including an industrial base. This is very important. What they're doing now, they want to push Iran back into a pastoral-type society. The one thing that really got Israel worked out is the way Iran managed to industrialize under sanctions. They're working totally independent of the international system in terms of loans, in terms of technology and so on, and this is a great threat to them. Now, when they've done this, this will leave us as a region with a chaotic neighbor that's going to threaten us, that's going to make sure that the Hormuz Strait is a choke point, and then they will come up with the alternative. The alternative that already Netanyahu spoke about a couple of days ago, say, well, bring your pipelines through us to the Mediterranean direct. And it's very similar to the India-Middle East corridor, if you recall, the one they announced in 2023 at the G20. Bypass the Hormuz Strait altogether, and we will connect you to Europe and be your connection to the East. In other ways, he's not going to stop only in terms of military domination of the region. He wants also to have economic domination of the region. And I think he's working on this basis, on the assumption, understanding that the U.S. support, even to Israel, may not be there forever. I mean, you could see now on the streets in the United States, the public opinion is shifting. He's trying to work out what if, when the United States is not writing us a blank check every other year, what will happen? And he needs to have that economic strength, which will come as a result of him controlling access to the oil resources. Of course, this is not in the interest of the Gulf states, not in the interest of Iran, and we hope that this is very clear to the Iranians. And you could feel, although they're still targeting some Gulf states, they started, I think, to become slightly more careful in who they target, when they target. And I hope that this message is very clear in their minds as well.
But what you're talking about requires an enormous amount of trust from the international community on Israel. Israel won't be able to just do this alternative economy, which will make it dominant, as you say, without, international support, international help. Yes. Israel's not quite a pariah state right now, but certainly states are very wary of dealing with this. And as you just mentioned earlier about sanctions, countries deal with sanctions. They find a way around all of that. So the likelihood of this actually happening in the way Israel wants is going to be really difficult. So is it a gamble?
It's not a gamble. This is the nature of Israel as an entity. It was created and it has grown incrementally, one bite at a time. And you could see even what they're doing in Lebanon today. I think they're going back to the very original concept. They need that south of Lebanon. They need to square the border in the north, Nahr al-Litani, all the way to the Jabal Sheikh or Sheikh Heights. That is, for them, is the normal, natural boundaries of Israel. So while we're all busy worrying about oil prices and so on, he is committing his troops on the ground in Lebanon in what is clearly a beginning of an occupation. He has managed to displace almost 1 million, one-fifth of the population north of the Litani River. Now he's pushing them even further, Zahrani River. And they work. This is how they, I think, historically have done. They've done the same when Al-Sharaa came to power in Syria. They took a bit of land there. They're now done the same in Gaza. Half of Gaza is now under the Israeli control. And they leave all these issues for the rest of the world to sort out later on. And they understand fully that the world does not have the stamina and the concentration span to continue to resolve these issues and address them. And that just things fall into their lap. And this is the whole history of Israel, right from the declaration of the state until now. It has grown one bite at a time.
Now, Sultan, there is a danger here of perception. It's a bit of a left field question, but I've been wanting to ask you it for a while. If you look at Syria, if you look at Iran, and if you look at Lebanon and who they're fighting in Lebanon, there seems to be almost a holy war aspect to all of this, because these are all Shia Islam, base states. And then you see Israel's statements when it comes to Saudi Arabia. We want to make Saudi Arabia the dominant partner in the region. Is there a danger here that this spills over into some sort of holy war with Israel against Shia Islam?
I don't think it's about Shia or Sunni. And the Secretary of War in the United States a couple of days ago made it very clear, it doesn't matter Shia or Sunni. And if you look back again historically, since the revolution from 79 up to 9/11, it was the Shia who were seen as the terrorist group, etc. 9/11 until today, it's been the Sunni, until recently ISIS and so on. So I don't think they differentiate between either. For them, I think it's Islam, which is a big problem. And the fact that it's now been admitted publicly, I mean, the Secretary of War in the United States have it all tattooed on his body, and the statements that he's giving out are extremely dangerous. And then you have Netanyahu a couple of days ago presenting morality as a sign of weakness and comparing Jesus Christ to Genghis Khan and all this. This is extremely dangerous, and it will play in the hands of the Islamic radical movements. And I fear that we will all feel the impact of this, and it will not be just limited to our region. I mean, soon all of these reactions will be felt across the streets in Europe and the United States and everywhere else, because we are now a much better connected world. It's no longer living as in the early days of the creation of the State of Israel. So he's playing the religious card very, very carefully, not carefully at all, very, very cunningly, and it could backfire. And of course, Israel and Judaism is the last he wants to present as a neutral power in the region.
Sultan Barakat, thank you so much.
Thank you.